What we're going to go through is a nice slow flow that is low to the ground, a little bit of standing, but more so we're focusing on shoulders and opening up a little bit through the hips, the hip flexor space. Let's start on the mat on our backs with knees bent. Hands onto the thighs. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. Relaxing into the shoulders, into the arms. Breathe in. And exhale. One more breath in. And slow breath out. Reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And as if you're climbing a rope, start with one hand and then the other. Reaching and lifting one shoulder off the ground, then the other. Breathing back and forth. Getting into the space between the shoulder blades. Draw back to center, round through the upper back, fingers nice and wide as you reach upward. Draw the arms up overhead, nice slow cactus through the arms, bending into the elbows. Reach the arms up overhead again, stretching from torso to fingertips. Nice and slow, take that cactus shape through the arms. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Draw the right knee into the chest. Interlace the fingers either around the shin or underneath the thigh. Let your foot flop. Press the low back into the mat. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale. Exhale. Draw that right leg forward. Slowly bring it back into the belly, into the chest. Extending the leg and drawing back. As you extend the leg, point the toe, hands to the ground. And as you bring the knee in, flexion through the foot, toes pointing upward. Follow your breath. One more. Let's hold the toes forward, leg extended. Through that left heel, pick the hip up. Breathe in. Exhale, lower down. Right foot to the mat. Left knee into the chest. Same thing, holding here for a few moments before shifting to that extension and drawing the knee back in towards the belly. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. The next time we extend that left leg, place the palms to the ground, press into the right heel, lifting both hips up. Let the belly become nice and soft. Slowly bring the hips back down to the mat, knee into the chest before placing the sole of the foot to the ground. Reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Both knees come in. Exhale, feet to the ground. Hands by your sides, sweeping the hips up for bridge, pushing forward through the toes. Exhale, draw down, arms up overhead. Exhale, lift the hips, palms come down. One more time as we draw the hips down, reaching the arms up overhead. Slow exhale, press through the heels, lift the hips up. Hold here for just a moment. Keep your breath going. Draw the hips down. Right ankle over the left thigh, knee into the chest. Flexion through the toes. See if you can even spread the toes here. Slightly pressing that right knee away from the body. Drawing the left foot to the mat. Right foot to the mat. Left ankle over the thigh. Exhale. Knee into the chest. Allow the low back to relax towards the ground. See if you can keep the tension only in the fingertips and the feet. Bringing the foot down and then the other. Turning on to one side, lifting the body, lifting the chest. Come onto your hands and knees in table. Fingers nice and wide, tuck the toes. Shift the body forward and back. Focus on applying pressure to the first finger and thumb. And as you shift back, focus on applying pressure to the toes. Keep the heels towards the center. And once you come forward, round through the upper back, chin to the chest. As you draw back, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Keep your breath going throughout. Draw back to center in your table. Extend the right leg back and up. Bring it over to the left side. Find your gaze at the heel. So we're taking that left shoulder towards the left hip. Slowly come back to that extension. Tent the fingertips, bringing them slightly ahead. Right foot towards the top of the mat, in between the hands. Look forward, still keeping those fingertips towards the ground. Press into the foot, lift the chest, hands down by your sides. Open the arms out to the sides, palms facing forward. Bend into the elbows into that cactus shape. Low ribs are going to tuck in towards the belly button. Inhale, reach the arms up, look up. Exhale. Bring the elbows down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, draw it down. One more lift. Palms together. Thumbs right towards the chest, twisting towards that right side. Apply pressure to the hands to give the shoulders and the chest some space. Moving back towards the front of your mat, fingertips to the ground, shift that right hip back, folding over the leg. One more breath in, looking forward. Slow breath out, bending back into the knee. Taking a look at the left knee, left thigh. Bring that left foot over to the right side. Open up through the chest into a low warrior two. Take the left hand, place it into the mat. Extend through that right side into a low side plank. This is where we're twisting towards the end of our mat or the other side of our mat. Right hand comes down. Left knee shifts over. Right knee comes back and you're in that table. Rock forward and back. Start to apply that cat and cow motion, rounding through the upper back. Tailbone draws back. Keep the breath steady. Slowly come back to table. Breathe in. Exhale out. Left leg draws back and up. Bring it over to the left side. We're taking that right shoulder and right hip towards one another. And my bad there. So you want to make sure you take your left leg, bring it over to the right side. Slowly draw back into that extension. Tent the fingertips, moving them slightly further ahead. Left foot comes to the top of the mat. Breathe in, look forward. Exhale, lift the chest, hands down by your sides. Open the arms out, bend into the elbows. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw down. Inhale and lift. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, draw. One more lift and let's hold here. Again, remembering the low rib cage in towards the belly button. Palms together at the top, thumbs right to the chest, twisting towards that bent knee. Pressing the hands together, keeping the elbows lifted. Breathe in and out, back to center. Hands to the mat, shifting the hip back for that half split. And you can keep a bend in the knee, or if you have blocks, chair, something close, lifting up a little bit higher. The full fold isn't always needed. Sometimes it's more about the balance. Inhale, bend back into that knee, hands to the ground. Exhale, shifting your gaze towards the back knee. Bring that back foot towards the long edge of the mat. Open the chest for that warrior two. We're coming back towards the front of our mat. Right hand to the ground, extending through the left side, reaching up and over the ear. Press the hips forward. Squeeze into the back line of the body. Left hand comes down to the mat as we turn back into that table. Hands and knees to the ground. Toes in, knees out, child's pose. Bend into the elbows for your child's pose. Adjust where you feel comfortable. Move from side to side if you need. Inhale, press into the hands. Exhale, shift forward. And as you shift forward, make sure the hips are coming forward and you're in a low plank. Find your gaze ahead. Inhale. Exhale, tuck the toes. Inhale, press more into the hands. Exhale, bend into the elbows, coming down to the mat. Elbows towards the center line, towards the shoulder blades. Releasing the toes, lift the chest for cobra. Exhale, draw down. Tucking the toes again, pressing through the hands, lift the chest. Send the hips back and up to a downward dog, bending one knee and then the other. Make sure your breath is moving here. And you can get a bit creative by moving the hip from side to side. Maybe lifting on one heel, one toe, then the other. Planting the feet for stillness, press the chest towards the thighs. Belly is nice and soft as you breathe. With the right foot, tuck it behind the left ankle. Draw the hips back. Slowly bring it back to center, taking to the other side. Crossing at the ankles, pushing forward through the hands. Slow draw back to your downward dog. Find your gaze in between the hands. Take as many steps as you need towards the top of your mat, forward fold. Bend into the knees for your forward fold. Let your arms hang. Press into the big toe. Slide the fingertips along the shins, halfway lift, shoulders back at the hips. Exhale to fold in. Inhale to come to standing with arms by your sides. Slow bend through the knees for chair. Arms out, then a bend for that cactus shape. Draw the shoulder blades as close as you can towards the center. Nice slow extension out. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, draw it out. Exhale, bringing it in. Reach the arms forward as if you're holding onto a box. Draw the elbows back. Slowly extend them forward. Exhale, draw them back. Keep into that chair, reaching forward. Lower down a little bit through the hips and send it back. As you reach forward, clasp onto opposite elbows. Fold in. Start to sway from side to side. Breathe back and forth. Draw back to center. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step the left foot back. Find your gaze forward. This is where you can use those blocks or fingertips. Press back through that left heel. Pushing into the right side, lift the chest. Arms down by your sides, arms out. Elbows in. Find your gaze ahead. We're going to hold here for just a few breaths. One more, inhale. Exhale, reach the arms up, palms together. Thumbs right down towards the chest, pressing the hands into one another, taking that twist. Squeezing into the left leg, come back to center. Hands down to the mat, shifting the right hip back in a really long pyramid, and it's okay if the heel on that back leg is lifted. Allow the hips to soften. So as you exhale, let them fall into place. Slowly start to take that back heel down to the mat. Bend into the front knee. Lift the arms, opening up to warrior two. Find your gaze forward with the palms facing down. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. In that front knee, press it up towards the pinky toe. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the palms together towards that long edge of the mat. Start to shift the front toes towards the long edge. Nice, slow, fold forward. Hands towards the mat. And if you're in a halfway lift for your fold, that's great. Take a look at the left toes. Bring the heel in. Bend into the knee. Slow inhale. And slow exhale. As you move the hands towards the back of your mat, hands connect to the ground. We're back into that lunge. Plant the hands. Send the leg back, coming into plank. Heels shift towards the left side, pressing into the left hand, coming into a side plank. Now you can cascade that plank, one foot in front of the other, or bring one knee down and come back to where we were at the beginning. Breathe in. Exhale, back to that plank. Knees down to the ground. Shift the hips forward. Bend into the elbows. Inhale, lift the chest to cobra. Exhale, chest to the ground, forehead towards the ground. Tuck the toes. Send the hips back and up to your downward dog and pedal the feet. Find your gaze in between the thumbs. 2 steps or Many steps towards the front or the back of your mat, folding in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding over the legs. As you stand up, hands down by your sides. Bend into the knees, arms out. Nice and slow, elbows come towards the center. And again, reach out to the side. Taking the elbows towards the center. And reaching out towards the side. Whew. One more, elbows in. Reach forward. Maybe a slight round through the upper back as you bring the hips a little bit lower. Squeeze a little bit into the hips and the big toes. Elbows draw back. Nice slow reach. Exhale, elbows draw back. And reach. One more, drawing back. And as you reach forward, clasping onto opposite elbows, fold in. Deep inhale. Slow exhale. Start to shift from side to side, sway from side to side. As you draw back to center, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Plant the hands to the ground. Take the right foot back. We're making our way back towards the front of our mat. As you push into that left foot, lift the chest, arms down by your sides, and then arms out nice and wide. Elbows come in, elbows draw out. Slowly bring the elbows in, and elbows out. One more as we draw the elbows in, lift the arms up, palms together, pressing them as they come down towards the chest, twisting towards that bent knee in the front. Draw back to center slowly. Hands come down to the mat, long pyramid with the right hip shifting back towards the back leg. Again, using blocks or fists or fingertips. As you exhale, let the hips fall where they may. Breathe in, slowly start to draw that back heel down towards the mat. So we want the outside edge of the foot to be in line with the short end of the mat, bending into that front knee, lifting the chest, opening the arms for warrior two. Roll the shoulders back, exhale. Find your gaze at the middle finger of the front arm. Keep the hips open to the long edge of the mat. Palms come together. Nice and slow. Take those toes, make sure they're pointing towards the long edge. Nice fold forward. Letting your fold be what you need, as far as you want to go, or maybe shortening the distance. Taking a look at that right heel, bring it in, bend into the knee. Nice, slow shift towards the front of the mat, hands to the ground. Take that front foot back, coming in to that plank. Taking the heels over to the right side, pressing into the right hand. Remember, you can cascade, bring one knee down, reach the arm up. Hold steady here through the breath. Keep the hips lifted. Find your gaze where it's the most comfortable. And back to that plank. Knees to the ground, chest to the ground, elbows towards the center. Release the toes, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, draw the chest down to the ground, placing one hand on top of the other and forehead to the hands for rest. Let your hips sink, elbows out to the sides, and heels out to the sides. See if you can release the tension in between the eyebrows. A few more breaths here. Slowly bring those heels back towards the center of the mat. Press the hips into the ground, hands underneath the shoulders. Start to tuck the toes, lifting the chest, keeping the knees to the ground for that low plank. Deep breath in. Exhale out, shoulders back. Hips towards the heels in child's pose. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, looking back at the knees. Inhale, moving forward to table. Exhale, taking it to your downward dog. Let's add on to that sequence. Finding our gaze in between the thumbs. 2 giant steps to the top of the mat this time. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, reaching out to the sides, coming into that chair. With the left heel, we're going to lift it up off the mat. As we press through that right side, arms come down. And as we hinge through the hips, arms out to the side. 2 more, lifting and lowering. 1 more, lift and lower. Interlace the fingers in front of the chest, press the palms away. Slide that left leg back into a lunge, lift the chest, lift the arms. Bringing the arms out to the sides, palms towards the chest, taking that twist like we did before. Come back towards the front of the mat, hands to the ground, shifting the right hip back into that long pyramid. Back heel towards the mat, bend into the front knee, open up, warrior 2. Hold steady, breathing in, exhale out. Inhale. Exhale. Palms together towards the center. Shifting toes towards the long edge, fold in. Heel towards the center, bending into the knee. Making our way back towards the end of our mat. Take that front leg, draw it back, coming into plank. Heels towards the left side. Side plank. We won't stay here long as we bring the hand back down to the ground. Knees, chest, and chin. Releasing the toes. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, chest to the ground. Tucking the toes, pressing the chest up. Exhale. Downward dog. Find your gaze forward. Step towards the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bending into the knees, setting the hips back, arms out to the sides. Through that right heel, lifting it up off the mat. Pressing through the foot, coming up tall, drawing down, opening up. 2 more, inhaling. Exhaling. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Bring the arms forward, taking that interlace, pressing the palms ahead, sliding the foot back, lift the chest. Arms out to the sides, palms come together. Nice slow twist. As we shift forward, hands to the mat, sending the hip back. Deep breath in. Exhale. Back heel to the mat, bending into that front knee, opening up into your warrior two. Exhale, bring the palms together, shifting the toes, folding in, bending into that right side. Sweep towards the front of your mat, front leg back into your plank. Shifting to the right side, heels and hand, side plank. Remember the different versions or variations of side plank you can come into. Sweep back to center, knees, chest, and chin. One hand on top of the other, holding steady. Let the shoulders relax and the forehead sink into the hands. Through the left side, bring the knee up in line with the hip. Holding here in frog. Catching the breath once more. And sinking into the ground. Drawing that knee back to center, taking it to the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Bringing it to center. Hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes, pressing back into that low plank. Hips towards the heels, hands towards the knees in kneeling. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Draw the knuckles away from the body, towards the ground, lifting the chin. Exhale, reaching the arms up. Press the hips forward. Exhale, hips towards the heels. Coming back into that interlace, shoulder blades close. Reaching the arms up, lifting the hips off the heels, pushing forward, squeezing through the back line. Exhale, hands come down by your sides and then behind the back. Reaching out to the side, kick the feet out in front. Slow shake of the legs as you center yourself on the mat. Crossing the right ankle over the left thigh, fold in. Take your fold wherever you need, flexion through that extended leg. Inhale, lifting the chest, bringing the knee up towards the ceiling. And as you twist towards that right side, right hand behind the hip here for a seated twist. Come back towards the midline. Extend the leg. Left ankle over the right thigh. And slowly fold forward. Slowly lifting up. Bring that foot across the right leg and taking that twist. One hand behind the back as you keep the knee lifted and the crown of the head lifted. Try and sink into the body, sink into the ground. Slowly make your way back to center. Extend the leg, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Give the feet a chance to drop to the sides. Head to drop towards the ground. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, hands behind the back, shifting the hips towards the heels. Windshield wipe the knees from side to side. Doesn't have to be very much, just enough to kind of get settled here. Place one hand along the shin and then the other, drawing the chest close. And as you exhale, round through the upper back, reach forward, lower down to the ground. Hands behind the back of the head. Bring the elbows towards the center. Lift the chin towards the chest. Slowly draw the head back down to the mat, opening up through the elbows. Send the fingertips down by your side. Either soles of the feet together here for a bound angle or extending the legs. You can also keep the knees bent if you prefer. And just take a moment here to breathe. Drawing the breath in and letting the breath go. Remembering at any time, you can pause this if you need more in terms of breath and rest. You can pause this if you require more support with a pillow or a blanket. Or you can continue here just to rest in your own time. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.